This is not a staged handshake between diplomats. It's not a press conference. What you're watching is a dictator holding a child hostage, on camera. August 1990, 5-year-old Stuart Lockwood, a British boy, stands inches from Saddam Hussein. The Iraqi leader rests a hand on his head, smiles, and asks,
"Are you getting your milk, Stuart?"
The boy nods, uncertain.
And with cornflakes too.
Around him, a group of nervous Westerners, men, women, and children, sit quietly in an ornate reception room, while state television cameras roll. The atmosphere is eerie, surreal, and the world is watching. Just weeks earlier, Iraq had invaded Kuwait, seizing its oil-rich neighbor in a bold and destabilizing act of aggression. As the region plunged into crisis, thousands of foreign nationals, many from the UK, the US, and Europe, were caught inside Iraq and occupied Kuwait. Rather than allow them to leave, Saddam Hussein made a calculated and deeply disturbing decision. He would hold them, not as prisoners of war, not even as bargaining chips in a negotiation, but as shields. Saddam announced that these civilians were his guests.
We are trying to prevent a war from happening.
ونعمل إنه استضافتكم ما راح تطول.
And we hope that you as guests, your presence as guests here, is not going to be for long, for too long.
لأنكم لستم رهائن.
Because you're not hostages here.
But the world quickly realized the truth. He was positioning innocent people, including families with young children, at critical military sites, hoping to deter the US and its allies from launching airstrikes. Human shields in plain sight. To an uninformed viewer, it might appear like a moment of calm, but to the rest of the world, it was deeply disturbing. This was not an act of care. It was a performance for the camera, a staged moment designed to send a message. Saddam was in control, and he was not afraid to use children to prove it. The footage of Stuart would soon be broadcast across the globe. It was played on the BBC, on CNN, on every major news outlet, and as it aired, people recoiled. The image of a little boy being used in a geopolitical game shook the public and sparked global outrage. British Foreign Secretary Douglas Hurd called the stunt contemptible. The US condemned it as psychological warfare. It became painfully clear to the international community that these hostages were not just being detained, they were being weaponized. And for Saddam, the strategy was clear. Project Power, humanize his regime, and stall the growing momentum toward war. But the stunt had the opposite effect. It reinforced the world's perception of Saddam not as a rational actor, but as a manipulator willing to exploit the vulnerable in front of millions.